For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
Hey everybody, this is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's Dad, marketing gunslinger, not the rock star, Captain Adventure. I've had many aliases in my life. Let's just put it that way. Okay, let's just say I've needed many aliases in my life, and I can't actually even confirm to you that Steve Miller is my real name. So we'll just leave it at that. And with me is my man, my best guy. You know, my riding partner. You know, we haven't played golf together, but you know what? If we did, we'd have a blast. And
we would have a blast doing anything together. They would make a movie and there would be like a scene,
it'd be
a montage with music.
Yeah.
Us just palling
slow
around.
motion dancing down a
palling around.
Yeah,
exactly.
Palling around. Exactly right.
Yeah. In fact, there's one of those scenes in the movie RRR that you highly recommended to me. And it's worth a watch. I did. Yes.
Now,
the whole thing, it's 3 hours long.
I know. Was I right or was I wrong?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
A fantastic movie, people.
Yeah, highly recommend.
R.
Yeah, partly because you've never seen anything quite like it.
No.
And it's very creative and interesting and just different. We see the same movie over and over and over again. Yep. It's got Tom Cruise in it and it's cool and it's, action packed or whatever it is.
Right.
You've seen it. Because America, we just make the same movie over and over and over again. This is a movie from India that's
so David
excellent.
Mail Loomis. I want to make sure I get your name in there because I haven't really properly introduced you.
Oh, that is my name. Yeah,
David Mail.
I have no aliases. No aliases.
Except
the voice.
Don't misunderstand what he just said. Tom Cruise is not in this movie. All right.
I'm sorry. Yeah. No, definitely.
I just want to make sure you understand it. But
definitely not.
You know what? Go on Netflix and watch RRR. The letters RRR, not the pirate sound. RRR. This RRR, and you will thank us. You will thank us for it. It is such a fun movie.
You will. It is very interesting.
Yeah, and did I tell you?
Makes the British. It really makes the British
look like. Yeah, they're terrible. No, it's an Indian movie. It's an Indian movie, and it's subtitled, and the dance scenes are unbelievable. They're just so awesome. So
yeah, it's very fun. Hey, you know what?
I got to turn this light up.
If people found themselves here, they'd know who we are. But this is actually the B2B marketing and sales podcast.
I am just thought I would add that. Very slowly getting to
he
do
was
that.
Steve was probably going to get to it, but
right now they're saying, "Are we going to hear anything about marketing or brand?
Well, no,
like that?"
But it's entertaining, and we gave you a good movie recommendation.
Yeah, we call that a referral, so that is marketing.
Correct. Right? It certainly is.
We are telling you
referral.
Actually, I will say this, and I'm going to give a little tip to people about this. All right, that I teach, what I teach, and you can agree or disagree with me. All right, Mr. Voice, Mr. Voice. All right, I contend there is a difference between word of mouth and referral marketing. Okay, word of mouth is exactly what we just did. Okay, where we had something really cool, and we're saying you got to go do this. You got to go watch this. All right. It's just like a restaurant. We go eat at a restaurant and we call a friend saying, gosh, we ate it. To me, that is word of mouth. That is
unsolicited. Unsolicited.
Well, it's sort of unsolicited, but it's like that. Unprovoked referral. And in referral marketing is something that we need to have a program about in our company. Referral marketing. And hey, can we switch topics and just talk about referral marketing?
What about our topic for the day, Steve? We labored over this for
hours.
Haven't we? Didn't we do an episode on referral marketing?
I'm willing to save my notes.
I feel like we did an episode on referral marketing.
Okay, all right. Well, let's reinforce that again. All right.
I'm not mentally.
We
prepared.
may have, but I can't push this enough that the vast majority of companies, number one, they are terrible at referral marketing. Okay, and referral marketing is where we help our customers and our contacts, and we help them to refer people to us. All right. Word of mouth is not that. That's my contention.
Okay. Great. Excellent. Okay. So what is
our topic for? Oh, I know what our topic is for today, because this came up. This comes up to me. I see this stuff all the time. I can't believe how often I see it, where people will come on to the internet. They come into LinkedIn. They go, for the most part, the business people hang out in LinkedIn. The other place that business people hang out is on Facebook, but it's not Facebook. It's in a Facebook private group. There are tons of private groups on Facebook that are business focused. And they are fantastic. I'm a member of a number of these, and they are wonderful. But they don't talk to each other, just in the general feed. And I spend very little time in the general Facebook feed. But I will go to the feed. So anyway, so the point is that so often people come in and they go, and they'll say something like, "Hey, does anybody have any recommendations of any marketing tools that are free? Can somebody teach me how to do something using email because it's free? Or just in general, they're just like going, I don't feel like I need to spend money on marketing, and and I'm like, wait a minute, and especially to the people that we're talking to, we're in the B2B world. Okay. Most of the people that we are talking to, they're selling expensive stuff.
Oh yeah. Got a great example of that from last week. And it involves our mutual friend, Michelle Jones, who has been a guest on this.
We got to get her back.
Michelle and I have what is now a former client together. And I will not say the name of the client, but I will say what this client does. Okay. Because it's important for the example. Okay.
All right.
This is, I would say it's a startup, but they're way past the initial stage because they have a very, very established product / service. And it's nothing it's not like something you invent in your garage. This is actually a way to disrupt the traditional medical care system by providing virtual primary care, including individual people that can advocate for you and send you to the right place for the right amount of money at the right time, etc. But it also involves insurance, medical insurance. It's a medical insurance replacement for traditional insurance. And this is being sold through major brokers, insurance brokers, to major companies. So and there are thousands of existing customers. Okay. So I'm just setting the stage for this situation.
I want to wrap this up by saying, I don't mean wrap up what you're saying. I just mean in a little bow here that what you're saying is that ultimately this involves a lot of money.
This is exactly what I'm saying. This is not pocket change.
No.
And this is an established company with multiple staff members across the country, blah, blah, blah. There was a request made of our mutual friend, Michelle, to help onboard the free version of HubSpot.
Excuse me?
The free version of HubSpot. There's no CRM system or email marketing system, yet, but this particular company wanted to use the free version.
They want to use
HubSpot.
The free version of HubSpot to market these services.
Correct. And there is a version of HubSpot that I believe is maybe
it's real
$50 a month, to get into like really serious, great, extra services, and it goes up from there. But $50 a month, I mean, individuals in their household, how much am I paying for all my streaming services? Speaking of movies, I mean, plus my, internet and all that. I mean, a lot more than $50 a month.
Now you're
so this is what is going on.
Why can't I get Netflix for free? Why can't I get HBO Max for free? Why can't I get all that stuff for free?
Well, you've got Facebook for free, but you've got ads and you are the product. But that's not really what we want. And it's not, it doesn't stand up to the...
You brought this great example. Here these people are.
B2B company. Yeah.
They're a B2B company. They are involved in something that is a lot of money.
Yep.
It's a lot of money. And they want and they wanted Michelle to onboard them to the free version of HubSpot.
Yep.
To market their services.
Correct. And by the way, the answer was no.
But as you said, the former
yes.
client.
Yes, exactly. So I'm with you, Steve. And another part, sort of part B of your, of the topic that you and I discussed was that not only do we get pressure to do things for free or to use free things and to have a small marketing budget in the first place, we're also asked, especially as we go into recessions or slow times or something's happening at a company, and you all are listening, this has happened to you, where someone comes to you and says, we're going to have to cut that marketing budget. Yep. And you say, well, we cut the marketing budget last year, and we need to do these things. And they say, somebody then says, well, give me the line item budget. And you show it to them and they say, my God, why are we spending so much on that trade show? Yep. Why don't you get a booth that's like half the size?
Yep.
It's like, yeah, but we just spent all this money creating this new booth. So it's not just the booth. So, I mean, it goes on and on and on with every example of something that they're asking us to cut. Correct?
Yeah. And so what you're talking about here, which is also a huge thorn in my side, is this idea that marketing is an expense.
Yeah.
That makes it a line item in the budget, because line items can be cut. All right, that it's like the old thing, like who wasn't it like a president who said he wanted to have line item veto or something like that?
Every president wants that.
Yeah. Well, and in corporations, the CEOs do have line item veto, and
correct.
And so, if we use trade shows as an example, but I think just in general, marketing is the one where they see it as an expense. And if somebody sees marketing as an expense, it will always be cut. When when somebody wants to, it doesn't even have to be a recession. It could just be a new CEO comes in or a new marketing director comes in and they want to look like a hero right out of the box. And so what they do is they cut the budget. And they pat themselves on the back and they go, aren't I smart? Aren't I intelligent? Because I just saved us, $100,000. I don't know, whatever it is. And the point is that number one, and we've had this conversation before, and folks, if you're listening right now and you have not listened to that episode, go back and find the one where we talk about, how to measure ROI in marketing. All right. Because that's where the issue is that, see, sales is historically measurable. The sales department, historically measurable.
They're not seen as overhead because they can make a connection between the expense that they put in for sales and the return that they get. It's just such an obvious, and it's so obvious and so directly connected that many salespeople are, partially or in some cases full commission. In other words, a one-to-one relationship. So that's trackable, but I don't hear about a lot of commission marketing people.
No, and that, I'm okay with that. But I mean, certainly you could tie bonuses in.
And that happens.
But that means you have to know how to connect marketing to ROI. So again, go back to our past episode, listen to that one. But in this episode, what we are trying to get you to understand, you have to pay for marketing. People,
as much as yes.
Okay. And you have to, but you have to change your mindset that marketing is not an expense. You have to treat it like an investment. As if you were buying stocks. And like right now, as we are recording this, we're still in the throes of the stock market, causing pain, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so we're all of us are looking at our portfolios and we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we find something that we can put our money in that won't cause us pain? So in other words, what we're looking for is a return. We're looking for a return on our investment, which is what ROI stands for. It's not return on budget, it's return on investment. And an investment is something that we expect a return on. You have to change your mindset. And so number one, I'm completely, I know Mr. Voice is on board with this too, is that marketing is an investment. It should bring an ROI. You should be able to measure it. And kind of going along with what you were talking about. Sometimes I often get the question, they'll say, well, how much should we spend on marketing? Or what percentage of our budget should we spend on marketing? Right?
Yeah.
And I always kind of think about, well, okay, it's really hard to answer that question.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of statistics on it. You can look them all up, and a lot of us have at times. And I've done that too, because I've been asked that question so many times. And I could tell you. I mean, you look it up, and it it'll say, between 3 and 12%, depending on what industry. Well, there's a big difference between 3 and 12%. And if you're a newer company, if it was a software company and was a startup, then you're looking at a much, much higher percent, because you need the eyeballs and the volume and the trials and all that stuff, because you don't have any revenue at first.
But let's go back to the question I asked you.
Depends.
Let's go back to the question. And I remember I asked you this question in that episode, that previous episode. You are the only person in history who gave me the correct answer. Immediately. And you gave it to me immediately. I think I was so shocked, I don't think I even said anything about it. and my question was, okay, folks, let's do it. Let's look at it from this perspective. Okay. If I guaranteed you 20% return on your dollar, guaranteed 20% return on your dollar, and fine, we can set a time period. We can say, okay, within 6 months, within a year, if I guaranteed you, I'll say a year, if I guaranteed you 20% return on your money within a year, how much money would you give me? Do you remember? And you better answer it correctly again, because I know you did the first time.
I'm pretty sure I said all of it.
That was it. Ding, 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 ding. That was the answer. And you are the first person in history. I've asked that question of thousands.
Because no,
thousands of people.
You would have to really believe that guarantee, or the guarantee would have to be ironclad. So there would be a couple things, but there would be, if it's true, if your thought experiment is true, there's really no reason why I wouldn't. In fact,
keep going.
I'd go out and borrow more money.
That's exactly, guy. You are so far ahead of everybody else. That is exactly what I have said to people for years. I have stood in front of audiences of 2,000 people. I'll ask that question, and they're all just kind of like, well, geez, I don't know. What should I would I even give you any money? Why would, should I give you some money? Maybe give you $1,000, or something like that. And I'm standing up there like this. I'm tearing my hair out, and I'm going, well, the first answer is you would give me all of your money. Okay. The second, and the backup to that is you would then go out and borrow as much money as you possibly could and give that to me, because you're guaranteed. So here's my point. My point is that with marketing, if you develop a process in your marketing that you bring in qualified moose, qualified target markets, people who fit the profile of your target market and have the money, the ability to pay. And if you are able to develop a system that it's like a flywheel. It's like a flywheel.
Absolutely.
And every time you put $1 into that flywheel, it gives you $1.20. Every time you put in $1, it gives you $1.20. So the question then is, well, how much money are you going to put in?
So here's a question for you. For that to work, what you just suggested, agree with me or not, but you would have to keep pretty close tabs on the fact that your investment in XYZ tactic was the thing that actually delivered those results. So there's a little bit of learning by doing, measuring, and metrics and return, right? Yeah. So you're not throwing it. You're not saying, okay, I'm going to put thousands of dollars into these 10 tactics,
right?
And I'm gonna implement them all at once without measuring. And I got a bunch of sales back. I don't know which one of those 10 worked.
You have to know.
So you have to know.
You have to know,
right?
You have to know. You have to be able to connect the dots. And I'm sure you don't remember this, but the way I describe it is you have to be able to connect the dots between your marketing and ROI, but it has to be a solid line that connects the dots. You know how sometimes you look at a map and you connect dots on a map or something like that, and the ones that are really you put a solid line. The ones that are a little bit questionable, put a dot. You put a dotted line or a dashed line or something like that. That's what I think most companies are missing with marketing, is that for them, connecting marketing to ROI is a dashed line. They think,
we sort of have a feeling. We sort of have a feeling that this is a good
it's
thing.
Helping, but they can't prove. They can't really prove it. So That's the thing
Right.
is that you have to, first of all, you have to understand marketing. You have to understand that the purpose of marketing is to generate an ROI. I don't care what anybody else says. It's the same as sales. It's to generate return. Ultimately, you need to generate sales. Sometimes with marketing, you need the help of a salesperson. Sometimes with marketing, you don't need the help with salespeople. The other thing is conversions, for example. You think about, and I find this statistic to be absolutely unbelievable. Is that in the B2B world, and it's been a number of years since I've seen any studies on this. So it could be a little bit different right now. I don't think so. Is that in the B2B world, the percentage, the conversion rate for the average B2B company is something like 5 to 10%. Now, what that means is that when you hand them 10 prospects, that they are closing one or a half of one. That's what that means. Yeah. You hand them 10 prospects. So the question is and in the past, and I don't argue with this, they've said, okay, how do you double your return? How do you double your sales? And the answer is you double the number of prospects you go see. Okay. Because you can't change the conversion rate. You can't change that 5% or 10%. And I disagree. Because here's how I look at it. The way I look at it is the better job I do of understanding my marketplace and understanding my moose and finding my moose to where I am totally focused in on talking to them. And there's a difference between a suspect, a prospect, and a lead. A suspect is somebody we think, they might fit our profile, right? A prospect is somebody who does fit our profile. Okay. And we're able to find out that they fit our profile. A lead is somebody who fits our profile so well that when we say to them, hey, do you have this problem? They raise their hand. So here's let me put it to you in this description. I talk about moose. That's our target market. Okay. Well, the forest, a lot of different animals. Most companies, they go hunting for animals. And they go and they talk to 10 animals in the forest. They talk to a couple of chipmunks, they talk to some rabbits, they talk to some bears, and they talk to a couple of moose. All right. And they close 5 to 10% of those people. Guess who they're closing? They're closing the moose. So wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be smarter if in the before part of all of this, you do nothing but identify the moose?
Yeah, absolutely. So can we go back to the free part? I have another question. So for those listening, when we started off and we said a lot of folks think marketing should be free. Who do you think that is that thinks marketing should be free?
Well, number one, I think historically, I guess I should say the marketing industry has done a terrible job of, taking care of itself. Done a terrible job because the marketing industry has had such a terrible time of connecting the dots between marketing and ROI that they've come up with funny numbers to justify.
Okay, but who has the impression? Who mostly are the people that have the impression that marketing should be free? Are you saying that's
marketers?
Say even marketers,
even marketers above.
Yeah. So senior leadership.
Yeah, because the percentage of people who have been actually really taught to connect the dots with a solid line I think is just abysmally low.
Yeah, I think part of the onus is on us. If I say that I'm a person in B2B marketing and I report somewhere into senior leadership, maybe I'm even part of senior leadership, but I'm not the CEO. But anywhere down, it doesn't matter what level you are. I think we need to do a better job of not just defending ourselves, because the word defense to me indicates somebody has challenged us and then we're reacting and responding and saying, oh, no, we really are of value. Hang on, let me show you. I think we need to do a better job of proactively, on a very regular basis, communicating to the rest of the organization everything we do and the value of the things that we do. So I really, really think that marketers play an incredibly vital role in organizations usually, and it is often a very overlooked role. And also, I would say half of what we do on a day-to-day basis is not obvious. It's not always noticed, but we're responding. Always. The obvious things are, oh, we placed this ad in such and such, or we organized this trade show, or we did this thing that everybody noticed.
Yeah.
We came out with a new brand and tagline, and we updated the website, and we did all these things, right? Or we have some metrics on leads and other things like that. But you know what we're doing? Half of our day is spent, HR calls, and, they're updating something for, attraction and retention. Can you help? Well, of course we can help. And we do it. Did we write down what we did and what value that would have been if they had purchased that on the outside, and what the result was of them doing that? I mean, there's 100 things every day. I've got a great example that I heard today that is analogous to the situation, not exactly the same, but it's a great idea. So somebody told me, this is somebody that used to be head of basically national account strategic sales for probably the largest commercial furniture manufacturer in the world. And they were in charge of many account money.
Oh, wait,
I'm not going to, I can't say, I can't say, no, it's a very high-end office furniture.
Okay. Yeah.
High-end office furniture. And they had an account with a very big global oil company based in Houston. And part of the account was going to get pulled, or they were opening it up to some other people. And as a result, it prompted this person I was talking to today to create basically a value checklist, a value inventory of what they were actually providing to their client that the client didn't realize. So the client thinks, oh, you just sell me furniture. Okay, we do so much more than that. And I think maybe you've forgotten, because here's the thing. It ended up being a 4-page list. And not only did they list it, he attached the actual dollar value of what those services were to this list and handed it to him. The meeting went fine. They do it now as a rule across the entire company. And he told me what happened after the meeting. He told me that the procurement person for the big oil company took him aside and kind of like shoved him and said, "Yeah, screw you." It was not screw you. It was a different word, which you can imagine.
Oh, he
screw you.
Called him him, her, him.
Yeah, you just made me I was going to, be a hero for bringing in this other firm to, save some money on paper. And now you made me look bad by showing me all the stuff that you do, which is kind of crazy. But my point is, why not track, if you are in B2B marketing, why not just start tracking more intentionally all the things that you do? Because I guarantee nobody notices half of it. And then the real challenge is try to attach value to it, and potentially even an outcome. So if you do a favor for somebody internally, which you're doing all the time, every single day, not only do it, track it, write it down, but follow up with that person to say, what was the impact of what I did for you? Follow up. It's going to take a little extra time, but then you'll have it.
Yeah.
Then you're proactive. And
I would contend that a way to plus that is that you figure out a way to make that part of the deal, where you are saying to people, here's what we are going to deliver to you. And when they put it in those terms, like you're talking about, they are now talking about things that are above and beyond what would normally have been expected. And they are now separating themselves from the competition.
Absolutely. So that is, I mean, if marketing is not respected as it should be, which is probably the case, and folks are trying to pressure us to, including ourselves, to try and do it on a shoestring, if not free or nothing.
Right.
Then let's not just sit back and accept it. Let's fight back, and let's prove.
You gotta have proof.
Prove it the other way.
That's why I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. We
prove it.
Need to have
make that solid line.
And if you don't know
what we do,
if you don't know how to do that, well, you need to call one of us. I'm serious. I'm 100%.
No, it really is. It really is
so
possible.
Tired, and I'm so tired.
We do this all the time.
I'm so tired of agencies, and they're out there and they're making up funny metrics. I mean, I have never cashed a check on awareness. And I don't think I've ever met anybody who cashed a check on awareness. And see, that's why I say it's got to be a solid line, and you have to know how to do it. And you have to be able to talk the language with your customers, with your clients, and with your prospects, that where in a lot of cases, you're going to be educating them. Because as you pointed out, Dave, that even when you go up higher, in the company, nowadays more and more of the people up high are financial people.
Right.
Nowadays you see a lot more financial people at the top of the organization. Well, they come from the world of just looking at the numbers. Right. And so you have to talk to them in numbers. So,
right. And something that crept into my mind when you talked about awareness was awareness. You have to have it, because if someone doesn't know that you're there or can't find you, they can't engage. But engagement is what we want. And it reminded me of, and this is not B2B. I was but I was a major consultant to, because I was at the parent company of a chain of 300 kitchen stores that were at outlet malls called Kitchen Collection and Le Gourmet Chef. They are both no longer in business. But when I was involved, I mean, we were doing well, and we didn't track awareness because what do you do with that? But here's what we tracked, and it was fascinating. We tracked we tracked a lot, but we tracked 3 major levers that all would impact what, our top line, especially, which was very, very important. Okay. So we tracked footsteps. So that was meter. There were door counters. So whenever a human being, or probably not a dog, but a human being, walked in the door of one of the stores, it counted it. So we knew how many footsteps there were. Okay. So that's the engagement we're talking about. So that does count. Someone's in the store. Second of all, we counted average, I'll say closure rate, which is what percent of those footsteps bought something. Okay. And then the third was the average sale. So when they did buy, how much did they spend on average? And we tracked those so intensely. And what was so interesting is that you could control things that were happening by, let's see, could we get more footsteps? How do we get more footsteps? Put better signage outside to draw people in. Can we get a higher closure rate? Yeah, we definitely can, by basically engaging with the person and, don't sit there, talk to the customer, sell to the customer, etc. Have average sale. Yeah, we definitely can get the average sale up by putting impulse items at the counter and by suggesting very specific add-ons that go with this and this and the other thing. So my point is, that's the kind of stuff that we should be doing in B2B marketing also. Tracking the levers and then actually doing things to impact those levers.
Let's translate that into today.
Let's do it.
The storefront is the website.
Yep.
So the footsteps are the people coming to you. Now that's so right. It's all well and good to tell me how many people are coming in. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me how many people are coming in, and then where do they go? And then what do they do? Do they leave us money, or in the case of B2B, very often, of course not. They're not going to leave us money when they come into our website. All right. So how do we define? We define it by, do they engage with us? I've always called it persuasion. I've always said awareness without persuasion is malpractice, but I think awareness without engagement is the same thing, is malpractice. So we get them to engage with us. And folks, let me tell you, if the only engagement tool that you're using on your website is, are you ready for a quote? Would you like a quote? Come on, people. That is not engagement. You're stepping too far.
Yeah. Well, of course you'd love a quote, and you'd love them to start a quote. And a small percentage of people may be ready to start a quote, but there's all sorts of other steps on the way there. There's great content that you could write that's of value to them.
Their information. Can't we capture their contact information?
Just capture their contact information, right. And if they'll give you a couple of selections of their interest areas, then that's going to help even more.
So we call that engagement. You know what we call that?
What do we call that?
Marketing.
I don't know. Is it free?
Not if you still got to develop all that stuff. You got to develop the lead magnets. You got to develop.
It's not free.
None of it is free. You still have to build all that stuff. So
yes,
anyway.
You do. Yes, we do. Because
we are ranting and ranting because you know what? Because we are passionate about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr.
It's
Boyce
not
and
free.
David,
it's not free. Shouldn't be free. We got to track it, folks. Track it.
Yeah.
Track it. Prove it. Prove it, and get the budget increased.
Your example
not decreased.
Of the store was so good because everything about that was solid line. It was a solid line connection.
Cause and effect.
Yep. So All right, I got to get out of here because I'm getting ready to smash my computer. So
okay, yeah, we don't want to do that. That wouldn't be free. That wouldn't be free either. He's
Aren't
passionate.
you passionate? I know you're passionate about this too, my friend.
am. I'm just a little more reserved about it. No. So, folks, I'm going to take us out. This has been the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast with none other than Steve Miller, not the rock star, Kelly's dad, marketing gunslinger. So many aliases because you don't really. His name might not even be Steve Miller. It might be something else.
Randy Lane was another name that I used. So
okay, see, and
the story behind it.
But don't call him late. Don't call him late to dinner, and don't call him a cab.
Yeah,
because he's not going anywhere.
No.
And I am Dave Loomis, also known as the Dave Loomis, the voice, other things. But I've never really. I'm in plain sight, but I'm not in hiding like you are. Thanks for joining us, folks. This has been a ball. And we will see you next time. Toodaloo.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.